Today's video is how to run a bead of caulk in a big gap. So the first thing we're going to do is take the backer rod and push it into the gap. This gap over here is a little bit small. So we could actually not put it in there, but you get the point. We're just sticking it in the gap. So over here, so let's go to the thick spot. So over here it's thick. This is where we really need it. This is a thicker spot right here. And you do need something like this 1.5 inch putty knife to push it down. This is a good tool to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. You shouldn't be able to see the backer rod. You don't want to push it down too far, but you want to push it down a little bit below the level. You need a little bit of space so you can get the caulk in. So this section right here, the gap is small enough I didn't really need it. So the backer rod's in here, and then if you bring your eye to this plane, you'll see that you can't see the backer rod anymore. We pushed it down, but not so far that there was a huge gap. We pushed it down just far enough so that you can't see it this way. So if you see the tip of the caulk here, there's about, well, it's about 1/4 inch. And so that's how long I'm gonna make my cut on the tip of the caulk. See that? There you go. So just a quick tip, make sure you have a caulking gun. You see when the caulk starts coming out, that has a release button. So this is the release button. Just make sure that it can release. If it doesn't release well, then you're going to be in a world of pain with all kinds of caulk coming out. Automatic sometimes work, but I like the manual one. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people make with caulk and paint in general is not having sufficient lighting. So this little, I really like this Nebo headlamp. I'll put a link in the description. And so it's a really powerful light so that when I go down and I run my bead of caulk, I've got a really good, I can see all the imperfections. So one of the things that I always try to do whenever I'm running a bead of caulk is, I don't know if you can see this thumb, and my whole fist is wrapped around the caulking gun. I'm trying to create something that I can use to slide, so that it makes my caulk line smoother. So here we go, I'm gonna start doing it. That one's not working too well actually. This is gonna be a little different angle for the camera, so I'm gonna try this one. And so I've got the edge of my hand against the sill here. And then I'm releasing and pressing the release button. If you look back here, press the release button so I don't dump a bunch more caulk on there. Okay, now I'm going again. And my hand is pushing against here, holding it. And then I'm angled, so there's my angle of my cut, and I'm angled at a 45-degree angle back and down. Both directions, about 30 degrees. So here we go. So always want a little bit more than you need, but not a ton. So the tip started getting dirty. This is one of the things I always like to say is clean and throw away paper towels. As many as you need. Keep the tip clean. Don't let it be dirty. Keep your fingers clean. Again, resting my arm against the sill here. Okay, so what I have now is I have the sponge and the water and my paper towels. So I'm going to start finger troweling it, and I'm trying to keep the caulk off of the window in this case. And you notice how the light on my head gives me so much more visibility of what's happening. And I'm trying not to dig into the groove, so I'm trying to make my finger rest on this plane and not push down. Okay, and the key to this technique, or the key to what I think is the key is keeping your fingers clean. Just clean your fingers. And make sure to have something to throw your towels into. You don't want to throw them on the ground because you'll get caulk everywhere and then it's a nightmare. So just always keep your hands clean. And then look down here. I like to just rub my finger off on the edge of the bucket and clean my finger and start over. I'm looking really close at the line. It's coming up pretty good. We'll keep going. Taking the paper towel, fingers clean, get them a little bit wet, wipe them on the sponge, throw away the paper towel. And then there's a little dip right there. So just come back. So when you want to lay more caulk down, you got to angle your finger forward with the extra caulk. And then when you want to take some off, you angle your finger back. So I'm going to lay some down more. So I'm going to angle it forward and lighten it up. Angle it forward and lighten it up. So right here, there's a little bit of extra caulk right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold up the sponge real tight, and then I'm going to really tightly press and just take that off with the wet sponge. Wet it down a little bit. Do it again. I'm just taking it, I'm not going down into the arc of the caulk line, just right above it. And then this, so the line got a little bit off again, so I'm just gonna, another trick is you get your hand a little bit wet, it won't move it as much, and it'll give you a little bit more, you can make a lighter touch and not dig it as deep. So, I hope that was valuable. Subscribe if you got value, and please leave comments or questions below. Have a great day.